being left. You must be smart. You must be strong. Oh yeah, man, look at these muscles. But most of all, you must be weird. Just in case you didn't know, an adjective describes a noun. The smelly rat. The dirty room. Don't judge me! In Latin, there are 3 parts to an adjective: masculine, feminine, and neuter. For example, femina, which means woman, is obviously feminine. So that means when you want to say the happy woman, you would say femina laeta, because laeta is the feminine version of laetus, which means happy. Here's another example. The hungry snake watched the terrified mouse. Snake is neuter, so the word for hungry would also be a neuter, as is the word mouse. So terrified would also be a neuter. Adjectives come in 3 degrees: positive, comparative, and superlative. Positive is the regular form. Ignavus simply means lazy. Ignavus canis, the lazy dog. Ignavior or ignavius in neuter would mean the lazier dog. Domino est ignavior quam nugget. Superlative is the most of something. Isis is bigger than Apollo, but hoopla is the biggest. To make a superlative, take the stem of the adjective, add issim, and then add us a depending on the gender. Hoopla est magnissimus serpenti me. First and second declension adverbs are made by taking the stem of the adjective and adding a long e. That word means beautifully. Calypso pulchre cantare potest. Pretty bird. Third declension adverbs are made by taking the stem of the adjective and adding iter. Domino fortiter pugnare potest. Domino can fight bravely. You can use degrees on adverbs too, like positive, comparative, and superlative. Salto laetissime. I dance very happily. Just add issime to the stem of the adjective. Comparative adverbs simply add ius to the stem. There are also a few regular adjectives that I will display next. Shut up! Stop staring! Don't eat that! Why not? Those are all imperatives or commands. These take the vocative case. If you're addressing someone whose name ends in us, like Brutus, their name would change to Brute. If it ends in ius, change it to a long I. My would change to me, mi. There are positive and negative imperatives. Sit down is positive, for it lacks not. Do not stand is negative. It's telling you not to do something. To make an imperative, take the re off an infinitive, and that's simply the imperative. But that's only for singular. This means love. Love your mother! Add te to make it plural. Amate. For third, add ite to the stem. When using a negative imperative, use noli for singular and nolice for plural. Then simply add the infinitive of the verb to make it work. Section 3. This is the Latin word for want, and this is the Latin word for do not want, or literally be unwilling to. The following is how you would conjugate them. When you're using these verbs, make sure what follows it is an infinitive. I want to teach Latin to you. They do not want to stand. Lazy dogs, go chase a squirrel or something. Section 4. This is the irregular verb for to be, conjugated as shown. To be successful in Latin, you need to know this verb. When you see this conjugation, you can see remnants of the endings of regular verbs, ost, mus, tis, unt. Possum means to be able. No, it's not an animal. To conjugate it, you simply use sum. When the conjugation of sum starts with an s, you use pos to start. Possum, possunt, but if it has an E, then you use pot, potes, potestis. That goes for imperfect too, but since all of the imperfect conjugations of sum start with E, it all starts with pot, poteron, poteras, poterat, etc. Conjugate possum imperfect is regular. You just have to use potui and then add the perfect endings. Usually what follows possum is an infinitive. I am able to play the flute well. However, I am not able to play chess. Section 5. Whose sandwich is this? Relative pronouns are like qui and quae, quod. Qui is masculine, quae is feminine, and quod is neuter. The declining of them is as follows. The girl who was holding the baby was drinking. You thought I meant alcohol, didn't you? Girl is in feminine, so who would be in feminine nominative also? Puella is called an antecedent. The antecedent is the word that the pronoun takes the place of. Section 6. Aren't you loving this? This lesson, having been learned, will help you in Latin. Myself, having helped you with this, will relearn it too. There are 3 kinds of participles that we have learned. Present active, perfect passive, and perfect active. Let's start with present active. Take the present stem of a verb and add ns to the end of it. For third, take the stem and add ens. This translates to loving and leading. Here's an example. The dancing girl fell down. La 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 ooh. Take the verb to dance, and then take the stem, and then add ns. Cantans. Puella cantans quequidit. However, these can be declined. Isn't that wonderful? So you also need a genitive form, so you know how to decline them. For first and second, add ntis to the end of the stem. For third, add entis. I watched the dancing girl fall down. Ha! Now let's move to perfect passive participles. They use the 4th principal part. Let's recall amantus means having been loved. Take its stem and add us, a, Here's an example. The dog, having been attacked by the girl, was confused. Petita modifies canis, so it's feminine and nominative, since the dog is feminine too. A is the ablative of agent. On ob means by. The word it refers to takes ablative. Now, perfect active participles are completely different, and they're their own word. They're not part of a verb. Some are adeptus, adepta, adeptum, which means having obtained, and precatus a which means having prayed to. In general, they translate to having blanked. Here's an example. The girl, having obtained the dog, cackled. The flute, having been played by the girl, sounded bad. Section 7. Genitive can describe quantity, possession, and description. Quantity can mean a bunch of coconuts. Of coconuts would be in genitive. Possession could be like so. The book of the girl is long. Who does the book belong to? The girl. Genitive of description tells what kind of something a noun is. The man of the highest prudence. What kind of man is he? Of the highest prudence. Cum clauses are the dependent subjunctive clause that uses, you guessed it, cum. They tell you the condition under which the sentence happened. But this form of cum does not mean with. It takes ablative. Here's an example. When I was loving the bad boy, my parents were sad. But Daddy, I love him! But that verb is weird. What is it? Silly. It's imperfect subjunctive. Take the infinitive and add the imperfect endings. MST, mus, tis, und. This translates to was blanking. This form of cum has no set translation. They are dependent on the clause. Here's another example. When I was listening to Lindsay and Rachel, I did no work.
Oh my gosh, this new band, I like totally like this was like
Oh no! An indirect question doesn't directly ask something. It is someone reporting what someone asked, such as, Magister asked the students why they weren't working. To make them, take the main clause, plus ask, tell, or say, plus the question verb and the subjunctive verb. This uses imperfect subjunctives too. Magister discipuli rogavit cur non laborarent. Here's another. I asked the bird why she was singing. Where are you going? Where are you going? Calypso! This is what my bird does. Purpose clauses use ut, a subjunctive marker. It tells you that what follows is a subjunctive clause. Ut also doesn't have a set definition, but it usually means so that ... might ... or in order to ... so that I might ... I like dots and sunflower seeds. Veni ad oppidum ut puellem pugnarem. You could also say in order to attack instead. Make sure you don't get the twos wrong. I like to run is wrong. That uses the infinitive. I ran to town is also wrong. That uses towards. I ran to town to slap you. Cucurri ad oppidum ut te pugnarem. Watch out. I don't really know how I feel about this mustache. Maybe I can be forehead mustache. Is it cool? Is it the kids like these days? Need a rating. Do I have no pens in my room? I just want to write. I don't know what's going on. I just need a pen. Oh, I found one. Present active, perfect past. Present active, cursive. Oh, geez, you're lucky computers can't smell.
You're trying to get out. You're so cute. Oh, you're so cute. Get back in your cage.
Wait, nope.
Look at the snake.
Num num num.